That little jar at the back of your spice rack you paid $3.99 for at Walmart was once worth more than gold. If you are over 60 and you wake up tired, feel heavy after dinner, and move stiff every morning, those two tiny buds inside may help more than you think. Here is what they actually do inside an older body, how to use them safely, and the one critical mistake that can cause bleeding if you take blood thinners. Let us go straight to the 7 main benefits. After 60, your body shifts in 4 specific ways, and the compounds in cloves happen to touch all 4. The leader is eugenol, which makes up 60 to 90% of clove oil, plus beta-caryophyllene that calms the nervous system, and flavonoids, tannins and manganese you need for bones and metabolism. In the whole dried bud, these compounds are locked inside fiber and released slowly when steeped gently with the lid on, which is why the whole bud is far safer after 60 than pure oil, which hits all at once. 1. Digestion, bloating, and that heavy feeling after dinner. This is what most people feel first, and it works in 2 places. First, in your mouth. The warm aroma triggers the cephalic phase of digestion. Your trigeminal nerves signal your brainstem, and your brainstem sends a message down your vagus nerve, telling your stomach to prepare acid and your pancreas to ready enzymes before food arrives. After 60, that signal gets slower, which is why a normal dinner sits heavy for hours. Second, in the stomach, a microdose of eugenol relaxes mild spasms that trap gas and makes gas-producing bacterial membranes leaky because eugenol is lipophilic. A 2011 study in the Journal of Medicinal Food confirmed strong antimicrobial activity against bacteria that cause bloating in older adults. Within 7 to 10 days of correct use, 3 to 4 times per week, most people report less bloating after dinner and more complete, predictable bowel movements. It is not a cleanse, it is a tired system getting its timing back. How to use. Bring 1 cup water to a boil. Add 3 to 4 whole cloves. Cover tightly and simmer 5 minutes. Steep 5 more minutes. Strain and sip warm, 30 minutes after your meal. Never use ground cloves here. 2. Bad breath, gum health, and teeth. After 60 saliva drops, especially at night when your mouth goes dry, plaque forms faster, gums inflame and bleed, and morning breath gets stronger from sulfur bacteria on the tongue. Large U.S. studies now link chronic gum inflammation to systemic inflammation affecting heart and blood sugar. You cannot separate mouth health from whole body health. Eugenol inserts into bacterial membranes like Streptococcus mutans and makes them leaky, and it temporarily blocks sodium channels to numb pain, which is why dentists have used it for over a century. A small, diluted preparation reduces that overnight bacterial load at its source, not just masking odor. Most people notice fresher breath within 3 to 4 mornings because this effect is local. How to use. For breath, gently suck on 1 whole clove for 2 to 3 minutes, then discard. Do not chew multiple cloves. For gums, never use pure oil. Mix only 2 drops clove oil with 1 full teaspoon coconut oil and massage a tiny amount on the outer gum, then rinse. Skip entirely if you have mouth ulcers. 3. Morning joint stiffness and low-grade inflammation. Doctors call this inflammaging, the low-grade inflammation that never fully turns off after 60. It is why hands are stiff for 20 minutes in the morning and knees ache with weather changes. Eugenol inhibits COX-1 and COX-2, the same enzymes ibuprofen targets, lowering prostaglandins that drive swelling. Deeper inside the cell, it turns down NF-κB, the master breaker panel for inflammation in your DNA. When NF-κB is quieter, hundreds of inflammatory genes calm down at once. A 2012 study in the Journal of Immunotoxicology showed eugenol significantly lowered those cytokine signals, and a 2010 comparison of 26 spices in the Journal of Food Science ranked cloves number 1 for antioxidant and anti-inflammatory power, well above turmeric by weight. After 2 to 3 weeks of small dose use, mornings often feel less stiff. It is support without the stomach and kidney stress of daily pain relievers, but not a replacement for prescribed treatment. How to use externally. Warm 2 tablespoons olive oil on very low heat. Add 5 lightly crushed whole cloves. Infuse 5 minutes without frying. Strain completely. When warm, not hot, massage into stiff knees or hands for 2 to 3 minutes. 4. Circulation, blood pressure, and cold hands and feet. Cloves act as a mild vasodilator. A 2016 study in the Journal of Advanced Pharmaceutical Technology and Research showed clove extract helped vessels relax and gently supported healthy systolic and diastolic numbers without a sudden drop. The mechanism is improved nitric oxide signaling on the endothelium, the delicate single-cell lining inside arteries most vulnerable after 60. When that lining is less inflamed, vessels relax more normally and peripheral flow improves. That is why some people after 3 to 4 weeks describe gentle warmth returning to hands and feet that felt persistently cold. It is a slight day-by-day improvement that accumulates quietly. How to use: simmer 2 whole cloves and 1 thin slice fresh ginger, about 5 grams, in 1 cup water for 5 minutes covered. Strain and drink warm in the morning. If you take blood pressure medication, monitor readings it can add to your drug. 5. Blood sugar stability and afternoon energy crashes. A 2019 study in food chemistry showed Eugenol improved how muscle cells respond to insulin and increased glucose uptake through the GLUT4 transporter, the doorway that lets sugar into the cell for steady energy. Your body is more insulin sensitive in the evening, so a small amount with your evening routine may work with your rhythm. For prediabetes or the classic 3 p.m. crash, this modest support over weeks can help morning fasting readings stay steadier and energy feel more even. It does not replace diabetes medication and can cause lows if combined, so check glucose more often when starting. How to use: place 2 whole cloves in 1 glass room temperature water, cover and soak overnight. In the morning, remove cloves and sip slowly on an empty stomach over several minutes. Use only 2 cloves and only 3 times per week, never daily. 6. Immune defense, colds, coughs, and sinus congestion. Saliva is not just water. It is immune fluid rich in secretory IgA antibodies that form your first line of defense where viruses enter. Slowly chewing a single clove dramatically increases saliva flow within seconds, turning on immune surveillance at the portal. Combined with Eugenol's antimicrobial action confirmed against E. coli and Candida, this small local action helps when immune resilience naturally declines. It is also why Eugenol has long been used to calm coughs and sore throats, not by suppressing the brain's cough center, but by soothing irritated tissue and reducing secondary bacterial load that prolongs irritation. How to use: for cough, crush 2 cloves gently, mix with 1 teaspoon raw honey, and take 30 minutes before sleep with warm water. For sinus pressure, add 3 to 4 lightly crushed cloves and 1 teaspoon dried mint to a bowl of steaming water. Cover head with a towel and inhale 5 to 8 minutes through the nose. Never put pure oil in nostrils. 17. Sleep, stress, and staying asleep at 3 a.m. This may be most valuable for Americans who fall asleep but wake at 2 or 3 a.m. Cloves contain eugenol and beta-caryophyllene, which interact gently with GABA, the calming side of your nervous system that balances adrenaline. A 2022 study in the Journal of Sleep Medicine and Disorders found those compounds promoted relaxation and increased sleep duration without sedation. After 60, melatonin has dropped by more than half, so sleep gets light and fragmented. Clove water will never knock you out like a sleeping pill. But the ritual of slowly sipping a warm aromatic drink, plus vagal stimulation from slow chewing, helps shift you from fight or flight into rest and repair. Deep sleep is the only time your brain's glymphatic system fully turns on, flushing fluid through tissue to clear waste, including amyloid proteins linked to memory decline. If you cannot stay asleep long enough to reach deep sleep, that clearance never completes. Helping you stay asleep, therefore, supports brain clearance. A 2016 study in the Journal of Applied Toxicology also found clove extract reduced oxidative injury in liver cells, supporting overnight cellular repair. How to use: place 2 whole cloves in an 8-ounce mug, pour hot water just below boiling over them, cover immediately with a plate, steep exactly 10 minutes, remove cloves, and sip slowly over 5 to 10 minutes, about 1 hour after dinner. If you find this clear science helpful, please like and subscribe to Elders Insight and tap the bell so you never miss our next deep dive for life after 60. How to use safely and who must be careful. The safest form after 60 is whole dried buds steeped in water as described, never pure essential oil, which is 60 to 90% eugenol and can burn tissue and severely injure the liver in just 1 to 2 teaspoons if swallowed. Do not drink every night, 3 to 4 times per week is plenty. Never double up at bedtime. Never swallow whole cloves dry. Never apply undiluted oil to gums. You may also chew 1 single whole clove slowly for 60 to 90 seconds 2 to 3 times per week after a meal, then spit the fiber, never on an empty stomach, and never with active mouth ulcers. Critical warning: if you take prescription blood thinners such as warfarin, Eliquis, Xarelto, or clopidogrel, or daily high-dose aspirin, or have a bleeding disorder, talk to your doctor before any regular clove routine. Eugenol slows platelet aggregation and can increase bruising and bleeding. Stop all concentrated clove products at least 2 full weeks before any surgery, including dental extraction or colonoscopy. If you take diabetes medication or insulin, check sugar more often. If you have active ulcers, severe reflux, gastritis, or liver disease, get medical clearance first. The World Health Organization sets an acceptable intake for eugenol at 2.5 milligrams per kilogram per day, about 150 to 200 milligrams for most adults, roughly 1 to 2 whole cloves per day. 2 to 3 whole cloves, or 1/4 teaspoon ground, is the absolute upper daily limit. Even 5 to 10 milliliters of pure oil can cause severe toxicity, with liver injury appearing 12 to 24 hours later. Children under 2 should never ingest clove oil, and pregnant women should stay with food amounts only. What to expect? Nights 1 through 5, mostly nothing dramatic, perhaps a touch deeper sleep. End of week 1, mornings feel lighter, less bloating, fresher breath. Weeks 2 to 3, less morning stiffness and steadier afternoon energy. Weeks 3 to 4 and beyond, more predictable digestion and calmer joints. It is not a miracle, it is a quiet return to balance. Cloves will not cure disease or replace prescriptions. Used respectfully, in tiny amounts with the lid on, sipped slowly, and not every night, they support your systems for handling inflammation, protecting cells, and preparing for deep sleep. My one question for you, and I read every comment: what would you most want to support first? Your sleep, digestion, or joint comfort? Write one word below: sleep, digestion, or joints. Your answer decides our next video. If this helped you, please like, subscribe to Elders Insight, and share it with someone over 60 who deserves to feel lighter in the mornings. We will see you in the next video. This content is for educational purposes only and does not constitute medical advice.